We're going to look further at equivalent ratios today. Equivalent ratios show the same comparison of numbers or quantities. And you do that by dividing or multiplying those quantities to get your new quantity. And usually if you're going simplest form, you use the greatest common factor, and then you divide both terms by that greatest common factor to get it down to simplest form. So if I just count the number of dogs and cats here, because my question says what is the number of dogs to cats? Well, just by counting, I have 4 dogs and 8 cats. So I could say the ratio is 4 to 8. I see that both of these divide by 2. So if I divide by 2, if I make groups of 2, I'd have 2 groups of dogs, and I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of cats. So I could write my ratio 2 to 4. Well, I could also take my 4 to 8, my dogs and cats, and I could divide by 4, put 4 in a group. That would put all of these in one group. It would put these guys in a group, and it'd put these guys in a group. So dividing by 4 gave me 1 group of dogs and 2 groups of cats. So I originally got 2 to 4 when I divided by 2, but when I divided by 4 I got 1 to 2. 1 to 2 can't go any smaller, so in simplest form my answer is 1 to 2. And we always want to write our answers in simplest form. Pause the video and see if you can come up with the ratio of the number of red cars to the number of white pickups. See if you can find 3 equivalent ratios and circle the one that is in simplest form. First, I'm going to count the red cars. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I've got 12 red cars. And then I'll count the white pickups. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So I have 18 white pickups. But I see that I could divide both of those by 2. If I divide by 2 and put them in groups of 2, I could get 6 to 9. But I see that 6 to 9 also is not in simplest form. Even though I already have 2 ratios that are equivalent, I'm going to go ahead and divide 6 and 9 by 3. Dividing by 3 gives me a ratio of 2 to 3. And now I see that 1 is the only thing that goes into there, so I will circle the 2 to 3. But 6 to 9 was equivalent, and so was 12 to 18. 2 to 3 is just in simplest form. If I had taken my 12 to 18 and chose the greatest common factor to begin with, I would have divided them both by 6 in the first place, and that would have taken me to 2 to 3 first time. Now we're just going to take ratios and see if you can find one missing term without a situation. So we're saying 4 to 3 would be equivalent to 20 to what? We want the same comparison, and we know we need to multiply or divide to get the comparison. So we see, what did we do with 4 to get 20? Did we multiply or did we divide? Because I need to do the same thing to the 3. Well, I know that 4 times 5 is 20, so I need to take 3 times 5 to keep the same comparison. And so if I add 4 to 3, that would be the same as 20 to 15. On the next one, I see that 7 times 3 gives me 21, so I need to think what times 3 would give me 12. I could go backwards and say 12 divided by 3 gives me what? And I see that it's 4. And if I try it, 4 times 3 is 12. And this one down here, as I'm going down, I'm saying what to 16 gives me 3 to 2. Well, I can think of it 2 ways. I can either say 16 divided by 8 equals 2, or I can say 2 times 8 equals 16. It depends on if you're going top to bottom, like this, or if you're going bottom to top. Well, since I know the bottom one here is 3, going up, I needed to multiply by 8. So 3 times 8 is 24. I also know that to keep it the same, if this one is bigger than, the 16 is bigger than the 2, then this missing number has to be bigger than 3, so I know I'd have to multiply. If these numbers were smaller, I would have needed to divide. So always remember that two numbers need to both be bigger than two smaller numbers. Now we're going to look at ratios in just a different direction. So this time I have 4 to 7 equals 12 to what? So my ratio, instead of going down, is going across. So my 4 goes with my 12, and my 7 goes with what? Okay, so I can think of it like that, or I can rewrite it like I had a minute ago. 4 to 7 equals 12 to what? So if you prefer it like the bottom, then rewrite it. Okay? So we were doing 4 to get to 12 would be times 3. So that means I've got to times 3 on the 7, and that would give me 21. Up here, when I go first term to first term, again, that was times 3. So 7 times 3 gives me 21. You can decide which way you want to think about it. And the second one, 27 to 15 equals what to 5? Well, 27 goes with the first number, 15 goes with the second number. Well, the first one's missing, so I'm going to look at the 15 and the 5. To go from 15 to 5, that's dividing by 3. So this time I've got to divide 27 by 3 to get my term. And notice again that these two numbers are smaller, so these two numbers both need to be bigger. If the 12 is bigger than the 4, the 21 has to be bigger than the 7. Over here, because the 5 was smaller than the 15, this number has to be smaller than 27. That's how I knew I needed to divide. I could have also written this one over here as 27 to 15 equals what to 5. And I could see that coming down was dividing by 3. So to divide by 3 on this side gives me 9. Pause the video and try these last two, making sure to multiply and divide carefully. In this one, the first term is 3, and on the other side the first term is 48. And so I have to go from 3 to 48 by the same number that I go from the blank to 80. So I need to find out how many times bigger 48 is than 3. Since that's probably not in my head, I need to divide to find that out. So I find out that I get 16. So I know that 3 times 16 gave me 48. Well, that means what times 16 gives me 80? Well, to find this direction, I times, but going the other direction, I need to divide because 3 is smaller than 48, so this number has to be smaller than 80. So I've got to divide 80 by 16. And 16 goes in there 5 times 80. 5 times 16 is 80, so my answer is 5. On the next one, my first term has to go with 4. My 51 has to go with 3. Well, I need to find how much 51 and 3 are different, so I'm going to divide 51 by 3. And I'm going to get 17. So I know that 51 divided by 17 is 3, or 3 times 17 is 51. And since 51 is bigger than 3, this needs to be bigger than 4, so I'm going to multiply by 17. So 17 times 4 gives me 68. So my missing term is 68.